this. So you open Sunny Builder. Okay, we're gonna be making a CLEO script for mobile this time. So you must click right here at the right bottom corner. You must make sure you click SA Mobile. Okay, then we need a file. First of all, you have to come to File, New CLEO Script, or you can just click New, but let's go New CLEO Script. You see, it even makes the $CLEO.csa. I'll explain what this is, and I'll explain whatever is here in this interface. But just know that it will help us to make a script. Okay, so we're going to use something called opticals. Opticals are commands which will be followed by the game or by the computer to execute on the game. The way to find those opticals, you come to Tools, IDE Tools, and Optical Search. So if you open that up, you can see there's a bunch of numbers with a bunch of code, with a bunch of meanings. We're not going to use all of them, but many of them we're going to use. Okay, yeah, you see. So this is the first tutorial, and we're gonna start by taking it easy. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about the conditional statements. The conditional statements, let me create a new, okay, even this button creates a new script. Okay, the conditional statements. On the third tutorial, we'll be able to create our first CLEO script, which will work successfully on Android and hopefully on PC too as well. But before that, we have to understand what are conditional statements. What are conditional statements? Okay, statements. I will start by conditional statements to make this tutorial fun and cool. The next tutorial will talk about comments and loops. But today, let's talk about conditional statements. Conditional statements, we're talking about conditional statement like if. You see, is highlighted in dark. If. Or another one is if and. Another one is if or. Another one is else. Another one is, this is else. Another one is else if. Else if. These are all conditional statements. So how do they work? They work like this. For example, let's say we're making something called hungry. Okay, hungry. These statements help us to make choices. Okay, let's say you are hungry. Okay, or you are full. Or you are full. Okay, or full. Okay, now we have to use the conditional statements to decide what will happen if you're hungry, what will happen if you're full. Okay, we'll say if hungry, if hungry, if you're hungry, what will you do if you're hungry? Then you'll say JF, then you'll say okay, shift A, then you'll say okay, let me just do it like this. We'll put the semicolon and we'll say okay, hungry or full. This what I did, which is highlighted in green, is called a loop. We'll talk about the loop on the next tutorial. For now, I'm teaching you about conditional statements. If hungry, what will you do? You'll say, if you will say JF, this JF is a jump. It means execute which method, execute which loop, execute which loop. So in our case, we want to execute which loop? We want to execute this loop. So we'll come and say, okay, JF execute. Then you say add, you see, then that loop will be listed. If there are many loops, they will be listed. All of they will it will list all of the loops, but for now we have only one loop. Let's work with that. We'll say okay, then we'll activate this hungry or full loop. If you're hungry, then what should you do? Of course you'll eat, but you'll eat. Else else if you are full, what will you do? You will, if you are full, what will you do? Else if you are full, you won't eat. You see, these conditional statements help us make decisions. If you're hungry, if you're not hungry. Okay, now let's make logic with this and compare it to what happens into GTA. For example, if player is defined, like if you come to the tools, to the opticals and optical search and search player defined, player defined, you see, if player is defined, what this means, what this optical means is that if the player is loaded inside the game, then you want the player to do this, to do that, to do that. If the player is loaded, you want the player to do this, to do this, to do that. You see, so that's all about conditional statements, and next we'll be talking about comments and loops. So yeah, and if you want to download Sunny Builder, I'll include the link right below the video. You can just go ahead and download it. If you seem like you don't understand somewhere, you can just comment it out. I'll make a video on how to download and install Sunny Builder. Well, for that, until next time, guys.